Good morning. My name is Councillor Anthony Kelly. I'm chairing today's virtual hearing for Sings Superstores, 6 Beaconsfield Road, Southall. And my colleagues are Councillors Sanjay Kohli and Councillor John Ball, and we are today's subcommittee. Also joined by Cornelia Harden, who is clerk to the subcommittee and shall be minuting the meeting, and Hatun Zeb, who is legal advisor to the committee. You will have all received or seen the agenda pack, which contains the officer report with the details of the application, section 1. To confirm, today's hearing is for the application to review the premises license relating to Sings Superstore, 6 Beaconsfield Road, Southall UB1 1DY. The review has been brought by Ealing Council's Licensing, Compliance and Enforcement team. In accordance with procedure, I shall invite the applicant to present the application, answer any questions or call upon any witnesses. Then I'll invite the premises representative and those who've made representations or objections to make them. And then at the conclusion of the meeting, the subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and the committee democratic services officer, will retire to consider its decision. The decision will be given at the end of the meeting, approximately around 1:30. Obviously, we reserve the right to take longer should we need to. If the panel's unable to make a decision, you'll be notified in writing within 5 working days. So, Mr. Deere, if you'd like to present the application, meanwhile, if people can mute their mics, that would be useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is a application to review Sings Superstore, 6 Beaconsfield Road, UB1 1DW. The premise have been licensed since the 3rd of July 2020, and the license was transferred to Mr. Arvinder Singh, who is also the designated premises supervisor, on the 24th of September 2020. My first visit was on the 20th of July 2022 at 5 minutes past 6. I was accompanied by officers from the Metropolitan Police Southall Wall team and a trading standards officer. As part of an operation, we targeted street drinking and premises that were believed to be purchasing stolen alcohol. As we entered, 2 males were still on the shop floor and no one was behind the counter. The DPS or premises license holder was not present, and we identified ourselves and explained the purpose of our visit. To the 2 males and asked if they were in charge. Both shook their heads, and no one stated that the boss, one stated, sorry, that the boss had gone to get something. I went behind the counter to inspect the alcohol, and I saw a large black holdall in the corner. This was open and found to contain 38 times 20, 780 non-duty paid cigarettes, 1 pouch of roll your own tobacco, 250 small pouches, 4.5 grams of Indian tobacco, 119 15-gram pouches, and 63 4.5 gram pouches, and 20 15-gram pouches of Asian powdered chewing tobacco. On the floor behind the counter were over 100 bottles of spirits. And on a chair, on a black plastic bag, which contained 6 black security tags. There is a photo at the end of this pack to demonstrate. I apologise for the quality of the photographs that have come out. All of these have been damaged and broken off, stolen bottles of spirits. On the floor, a bottle of Remy Martin brandy, which still had an identical security tag as the others in the bag. The tag had been similarly damaged, but was still attached to the bottle. I'd like to add that no other bottles in the shop, on the shelves, on the floor that were for sale actually had security tags on. On a hook at the end of the counter, a small man bag which contained 6 pouches of Indian tobacco and 8 sildenafil citrate tablets were found. Whilst inspecting, a phone call was made to the owner, who turned up with another male who stated he was the DPS. I noticed his eyes were glazed and he was unsteady on his feet. In my opinion, he was under the influence of alcohol. the premises licence holder stated that the security tags were left by an unknown male who had asked him to look after them. All the cigarettes and tobacco were placed in a bag and a receipt issued and the bag sealed. On Saturday, the 28th of January 2023, officers revisited Sing Superstore accompanied by officers from the Southall Ward who had again received complaints about the premises purchasing stolen alcohol from street drinkers and drug users. We entered the premises, identified ourselves, and behind the counter, which was still very messy with bottles everywhere, one officer looked inside the microwave and found 24 packets of illicit cigarettes. Continued to check behind the counter, and a male came from the rear of the shop. And an empty bottle of Jameson was found on the shelf when the male had been standing. He left the shop. Also behind the counter was found 2 non-compliant vapes, and in a Jack Daniels tin on the floor directly under the microwave found 28 pouches of Indian tobacco. Whilst checking the bottles on the floor that were strewn all over the place, it was noticed that hidden behind compliant bottles, further spirit bottles which had still had the security tags on the neck of them. In total, I found 2 1-litre bottles of Jameson, 1 75cl Moet champagne, 1 75cl bottles of Hardy's wine, and 1 75cl M&S champagne. And in the rear store, we found 96 nitrous oxide canisters. Whilst at the premises licence holder Mr. Singh was seen to arrive at the premises in a motor vehicle, which was searched, and 8 security tags were found inside that vehicle. These were seized. In total, over the 2 visits, 1,260 cigarettes, a 150-gram pouch of roll-your-own tobacco, 5 litres of stolen spirits, wine and alcohol and champagne, and 3.85 kilograms of Indian tobacco were seized, and the unpaid duty amounts to just over £1,000. The licence holder, who has only been at the premises for 2 years, is failing to promote the licence objectives and undermining all the good work that has been done within the borough. And due to these incidents, the obvious disregard for the law and the fact that the premises already has extensive conditions, I would ask that the ultimate sanction open to committee be excised and the premises licence be revoked. And that is the evidence, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dare. Mr. Panchal, do you have any questions for Mr. Dares on the details of what he's just said, sir? Your mic is muted at the moment.
Sorry, Chair, we don't have any questions at the moment. Sorry, can you hear me, Chair?
Yeah, that's fine. No questions from Mr. Dare. Okay. Hatted, shall I ask the councillors to ask questions at this time, or should we make Mr. Panchal to respond? What would you suggest?
No, absolutely. If councillors have any questions,
Right. Yeah,
Mr. Deere, certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Councillors, Councillor Coley.
Yes, I have some questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, these are questions to Mr. Dare, not to Mr. Panchal. So you may want to wait. It's entirely up to you.
Yes, I do want to wait.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Ball.
I don't have any questions at this stage.
Yeah, fine. Just give me a moment. No, that's fine. So, Mr. Panchal, would you like to respond?
Thank you very much, Chair.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
Question for Mr. Deere. Can I ask him?
Yeah. That was your chance, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, it's all right. No problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, Bob. When you attended the first visit, did you leave any warning letter to Harvinder Singh?
He's given a receipt for the bottles by Brian Gohori, and on that receipt, it's not in the papers, Chair, Councillor, sorry. He is put there that it's the first and final warning for these offences. He's also pointed out to him the severity of these offences and the likely sanctions as well.
Ms. Panchal, just so you know, your mic is on, and we probably have, and it's probably understood by some panel members what it is being said. So just bear that in mind. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can speak for the thing that's issued at when confiscations are done, they're signed for, and it's a final warning. That's a standard practice. Councillor Coley, did you any follow up on that, sir?
No, I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, Mr. Panchal, do you want to unmute your mic now, sir?
Sorry, Chair. It suddenly come to my attention since Mr. Councillor Coley's asked the question to Bob, and I've just asked the client. There was no warning letter given to the client. There was just a list of bottles taken away. That's what the client is saying to me. He literally just warned Mr. Harvinder Singh verbally.
Okay, so sorry. Bob is saying there is one. Bob has said there is one. That's his response. Do you have a question for Mr. Deer, Mr. Panchal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That Bob
What
said
is the?
that is,
Yeah.
the question is Bob's saying that there was a written confirmation letter. Why is that letter not presented today? A, and B, I've spoken to my client who feels there was only a verbal warning.
Okay, so Mr. Deer says he issued it. I have been on inspections where it is issued, and it's not something that is, and you're experienced at these hearings, Mr. Panchal, it's not something that's ever been exhibited to my knowledge, or I've never seen that as an exhibited. It's a question Mr. Coley's asked for clarification. We've had it. Bob and Mr. Gohiri issued that to your client. That is what he said. Your client is saying something different. I think we should move on from that now.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Panchal.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. I'm having just a brief background that in 2020, my client acquired the place and we applied, the application was made by us at Personal License Courses for the premises license, and the license was granted. We explained to the client what his duties would be. At this very moment, we are not going to dispute what Mr. Bob Deer has come and had it on July 2022. The client understood the question that we asked Bob Deer regarding, and you were agreeing that there was a warning letter. My client disputes that there was no warning letter, but there was a verbal warning given by Brian to my client at that very time, and my client should have understood at that very instance. A list of items taken away in July were given to my client. Again, Saturday, 28th January, there isn't any dispute. I personally have had a chat with the client. He has raised his hands up and said, yes, he has made a mistake twice. And we are proposing today, Chairman, that he has now understood the mistakes that he's made. We feel at this very instance, we are now going to have a strict training carried out by him, to him. We are thinking that he is not capable of being a DPS, designated premises supervisor. So we are proposing to the committee that we change the DPS and we have a strict regulation that Mr. Harvinder Singh will have no right purchase any goods for sale in the shop. The DPS will have the full authority, and the new DPS be trained. Whoever comes in, the new condition would be to be trained under DPS level 3. Whilst the DPS changeover is taking place and the matter is being dealt with, we feel a short suspension be put to the shop. This will help everybody going forward. There will be a financial loss to Mr. Singh when that suspension is put forward. He has learned his lesson at this moment. I understand that the dispute, or Mr. Bob Deer's or your view would be that it was twice he carried out. We feel that yes, he isn't the right person to become the DPS of the shop. That is what your feeling would be, and our feeling would be. So we feel there would be a change of DPS. The DPS be trained under DPS section 3. All trainings carried out. No goods would be allowed to be purchased apart from AWRS registered suppliers in cash and carries. And a lesson we learned by Mr. Singh that any matters carried out would be a severe matter, and the license can be revoked. We understand Mr. Bob Deer's views under the guidance 11.27, 11.2a, that these goods, a revocation in the first instance can be carried out. So, Chairman, that's our feeling. Mr. Singh isn't disputing what he's done wrong. We're not saying he's disputed what is done wrong, but we feel that the shop is given a chance, and matters will be looked into to make sure the 4 licensing objectives will be robustly promoted. All matters will be looked after by us. Mr. Singh would be authorizing us to make sure we have the correct DPS in place. We make sure the licenses are robustly promoted. It is very difficult at this very instance for myself, even looking at what good work Bob Deer carries out in the borough. And I feel personally at this very instance, we do understand Mr. Singh's, if the shop is revoked and there is no license, it will be a disaster for his family. It will be a disaster for him to carry on. And if we can make things work, we will appreciate. And the only way Mr. Singh is to say, plead and have a suspension for the time being. We don't have anything else. We are happy to take any questions you have.
Thank you, Ms. Panchal. So if any members have got questions to, just bear in mind that the details contained within haven't been disputed. So I don't want to wade into those details. It's been accepted that these breaches happened as stated in the report. But Councillor Ball.
Yeah, I don't want to go into any great detail, but I just wanted to clarify that Mr. Singh accepts that there was stolen alcohol and non-duty paid tobacco in the premises on both occasions.
He does, because he didn't realize that alcohol brought by somebody, when if there was a tag on it, it's a stolen alcohol. Now I'm not going to dispute, or I'm not going to say that he's denying that there was not stolen or whatever. But again, there you are. A mistake has happened. He's raised his hands up. He's not denying that, and he feels that he's learned his lesson. And we all make mistakes, and we all learn from our mistakes. And this is where Mr. Singh's not disputing. That is one of the reasons. And we have sat down and spoken to Mr. Singh that this is something that you carried out and you cannot dispute this.
Thank you.
Councillor Coley, did you want to ask Mr. Panchal and his client?
Yes, Chair, if you allow me, I want to
Yeah.
actually speak to the applicant Harvinder Singh, if he could answer what I'm about to ask.
So and that's a quite prescient. Mr. Singh, would you mind just say your full name, please?
Oh.
Full name.
Harvinder Singh.
So it's Harvinder Singh, yes?
Yes.
And you are the you are the current premises license holder,
Yes.
as stated, and you're the person that's been who's authorised Mr. Panchal to make these submissions. So Mr. Coley, Councillor Coley, would like to ask you some questions. So if you ask them to Mr. Panchal, then Mr. Panchal will then ask them, and but
Yes.
yeah, go ahead, Councillor Coley.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Panchal, can you ask Harvinder Singh to confirm, is he both the premises license holder and the DPS?
I understand. Yes, sir.
Thank you. The other thing is, I do understand that you've put a defense saying that he didn't understand about what he was doing, being a businessman and a premises license holder. Could I ask him to answer his justification of having bottles of whiskey with tags on it? I just want to hear his line of thought that you are justifying he's learned a lesson, but I just don't understand why he wasn't aware of this. I believe this is, any reasonable person would be aware of that what he's doing is wrong. I want him to just give some justification.
Yeah, I mean, just bear in mind, Mr. Panchal, that it's not one or two bottles that have been found. So, you can offer mitigation when the volume is low, but then given, what was his rationale, I think is what.
I can. Sorry, I can answer because I've had a long chat with.
Okay, so maybe we want to hear from Mr. Singh, please. Yeah, and we appreciate it's nervous and it's a challenge, and we will be very fair, but we would like to hear a bit from Mr. Singh about what was going through his head when he decided to acquire and sell stolen.
Sorry, my file. 1 second, sir. Yes, sir. So when Mr. Bobby is coming in, like 20 July 2022, that time I had a mistake, but after that, I avoid everything to take any stuff like that, any illegal stuff. I stopped everything that time. After that, one day, some people come to my shop and blackmail me or give us some money if you want to behave, or you have to take stuff, otherwise you have to give me a money. Then I ignored them. They robbery at my shop. I have a police complaint, everything. They do that as well. When you come to Southall area, you see so many druggy people there. They come and force to you. If you are not taking anything, then they come and rob your shop at the night. You can go to the police station. You can check my complaint as well. I will do. They take my cigarettes. They take my alcohol, everything that time. That time in like 2023, when I do again, and Mr. Robert Deere is coming and he say that again you do this. I know I'm wrong that time. I apologize for that. But trust me, I don't do by myself. They're forcing me for that. They come to my shop, they robbery at my shop. I have police complaint, everything, if you want to check. After that, now I stop everything. If they want to robbery or if they want to do anything, if they want to murder me, no worries. I don't do this mistake in my future. All I want to say like this, because you asking me why you do again if you understood. That's why I explaining you. That's the problem. Or sometimes one time the police complaint against myself as well, because I fight one person in my shop because he's blackmailing me for my family as well. In front of my wife, she abused my wife as well. If you want to ask, you can ask my neighbors as well. They do this type of things. That's why I don't want to do anything in my future. You can ask police station. You can see the both details. If you want to see the complaints, I can show you.
Well, unfortunately, we wouldn't be in a position to see any reports today because Councillor Cody, did you want to follow up on that, sir?
Nothing immediately at the moment.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, that is useful, Mr. Singh, and and I'm not questioning the veracity of what you've said, but then it brings us to.
Yeah, can I, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Cody.
The applicant, Mr. Harvinder Singh.
Yeah.
Mr. Singh, what you're saying that you're not going to do it anymore, but your life is still in danger. According to what you're saying, how are you going to bring this pressure? How are you going to manage this pressure now? And why wasn't
this pressure, sir? I will manage like that. I will leave the shop. I will give to my friend. He will be the DPS. He take the shop. I will change my area. I don't want to work Southall at all. That's why I say I apologize whatever I do, but I have a pressure. I know still my life in a risk. If I don't do this, again they come to me and my family because they know my home, because I just live next to my shop. It's not too far. So of course they know my home as well. They attack so many times to myself as well. One time my friend is going to hospital just because of me. He break his hand, whole hand, and stitch his own head. I know, I understand. That's why I say I leave the shop, I give to someone else or change the DPS, I will go.
No, are you still the will you not be remaining the premises license holder? Will the premises not be remaining? Are you saying you're going to sell this? Because just by changing the DPS, okay, he has the responsibility of the running and the management, but you are you actually own the premises. You're the premises license holder. So yes, indirectly, you are still involved because the financial benefits or gains or losses are yours. So you have an intrinsic interest, even though the DPS might change. Can you please give me some clarification on that?
Yes, that's fairly straightforward. Yeah.
Actually, sir, I'm finding some buyer if they want to buy the shop. Otherwise, I have to change the DPS for right now. Because if I go for the quickly sell, nobody take it. You know, you understand it's not short money. And I can't survive like that. How in the money? I have only one option. I have only one shop. I just here from like 4 or 5 years only. Only 2 years open my shop. I got this happens. I understand. That's not your fault as well, but even not my fault. I'm in pressure. But right now, I look for some DPS, or if I got the buyer, I will sell. Otherwise, I'm looking for the DPS. I understand what you're thinking about that. If you want to ban myself, that's fine. I don't go. Even I don't want to go. It's not safe for me as well.
Just looking around, sorry, I can only see Mr. Panchal's room. Is anybody else? John, are you indicating? I'm not sure if you are. No, fine. So
I think Mr. Dare was indicating.
Yeah, Mr. Dare. Any questions to Mr. Panchal and his client, please?
Chair, can I? Chair.
Okay, Councillor Cody, you finish off. I'll let you in later, but you wrap up now. Just to say what, yeah, you asked your last question for the time being. So.
Again, I'm addressing it to the applicant, Mr. Harvinder Singh. Okay, Mr. Singh, I can I've obviously listened to your reasoning of why you're purchasing stolen alcohol. But can you please then, what about the fact that it's compounded with the fact that you have Indian tobacco, chewing tobacco, you have sildenafil tablets? What's the justification of this action? You know, you see, okay, you've given, can please, if I could listen to your justification of you having illegal tobacco, which doesn't have duty paid. And obviously Indian tobacco is not technically licensed to be sold here. We don't know about the health and safety issues, but can you please give me some justification of this?
Yeah, sure, sir. Actually, sir, when you go to any Southall shop, 99% they do this. One of I am, okay, I don't know that it's illegal to sell. Mr. Bob tell me first time when they come, they tell me that it's not legal. I say, okay, that's fine. Next time, sir, the guys are coming with the stolen bottles. They take me for that. They asking me for the cigarette, they asking me for that. If I don't provide, then again, the same thing is happening with me. I understand it's not only I sell to customers as well. I sell to customers as well. They're asking me, I know, but mostly the thieves taking from me all this type of stuff. You can go right now. I'm here. You can go to my shop. You can check. I do nothing. They warned me last night as well. When I close my shop, I go to the backside parking at my car. They warned me as well. I said, that's fine. I don't take anything. If you want to kill me, you can kill me. No worries. I don't want to do. But trust me, I'm not lying. I have everything I have in proof. I have the police reports. I have CCTV footage. Whatever you guys want to see, I will show you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Chair, that's I've asked all the questions I wanted to ask. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we can still let you back in. I just want to give Mr. Dare an opportunity to Mr. Dare.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
I'll keep it brief. Mr. Singh, Mr. Panchal, on the 20th of July 2022, you were given a receipt which you signed. Mr. Singh signed it with Mr. Panchal. Mr. Singh signed, and on top of that form was an email address for Mr. Gohari, which again is a standard practice. Can I just confirm you have never emailed Mr. Gohari, and I spoke to you on the phone when I put the notice up, in the blue notice in the window of the shop. You've never spoke to us at any time and said that you've got people blackmailing you.
Sorry, I'm going to explain to my client what you said, Mr. Bob.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dare, is this the first time you've heard anything of this?
Yes, Chair.
Fine. So bearing in mind, Mr. Dare's not heard this, and there's nothing in the papers, and there's no correspondence surrounding this suggestion of blackmail. What would Mr. Singh respond to that? You know, why is he bringing it to our attention today?
Let me explain to you, Chairman. I have also heard this for the first time today here at this hearing.
Fine.
So I'm a little bit surprised about it. Anyway, but
Fine.
what my client is saying, which I've just heard it today, that he has reported the same matter to the police. Am I right in saying that? So the same thing has been reported to the police.
Yeah.
Which police department did you report?
Metro Police.
No, where did you report it?
Southall.
Southall
Police Station. They're coming 2-3 times at shop as well.
Okay. Yeah, Bob.
Sorry, Chair. My computer froze there. You all went very still, so I didn't hear any of that. But obviously, that's
Yeah, it was reported to Southall Police Station.
Okay.
There is a report. There is a report, according to my client, at the Southall Police Station.
okay. Two points come out of that to clarify. Again, you've come here this morning with this blackmail allegation. Have you brought the crime reference? Have you brought the crime report with you? And also, out of that, it's never been mentioned by the police that they've ever received a complaint from you.
That I would have asked the client to bring it if I had known. I've just known it myself, like while you've known it. So I could have asked my client if I had known about it, to say that please bring in. So that would be a very useful information.
Yeah,
I have also explained, as I said in my report, that what I've read and what Mr. Bob Deere and Brian Gohary have done at your premises is something that you should have never done it. So it's nothing. That's one of the reasons I've said in my starting presentation that we're not going to dispute anything, because it is there. I know Bob Deere for quite a long time. I know the committee for a long time. I understand such a thing, whatever had happened. So I've explained to my client that you have committed something and you should own up, and there is no need for us to dispute that. So we're not disputing that. I've only understood now from my client, while you understood, and I've heard now, that there was complaint about this blackmail thing going on in Southall. And I would be very much interested to have a look, because I do follow a lot of community, and as Mr. Kelly, our chairman, would know that I come to a lot of hearings, but this is the first time I've heard that the community are in this kind of danger in Southall. And I would love to see that, and I would love to report to the police and to see what we can do to make sure this, because off licenses are not easy to run.
I think everyone's heard what we've heard. Bob, go ahead.
Thank you. Just one last point on that, Chair. Sorry, is that obviously I served 32 years in the Metropolitan Police Service. I've never heard of any blackmailer bringing goods for you that you have to buy. They just want money, and that's all they ask for. But these ones are obviously with a touch of difference, because they come with goods that they want you to give them money for, but then you benefit from selling those goods in your shop. But you've never, did you tell the police that you've got all this stolen property in your shop, and one, you don't know what to do with it? Did you take it to Southall Police Station and say, please, I'd like to give it back? Because obviously, Mr. Singh, you're asking us to
take it back to the Southall Police Station.
Sorry, you can answer that, Mr. Singh. Sorry, my apologies.
Sorry, it's okay.
Now, did you take it back to Southall Police Station any time when you reported it?
No, he hasn't. That's what I asked him.
Okay.
Just one last final point on this. Obviously, totally different from that. The man that was found in the back of your shop drinking alcohol was.
Good job. Sorry, Bob. What was that? Sorry.
Well, let me do it on Bob's behalf. What was the name of the person sat in the back of your off license, and what relationship might he have with you or with your business?
पीछे जो दुकान के पीछे पी रहा था आदमी, उसका कोई रिलेशन है आपके साथ?
No, sir. He already come. He already drunk. He just go to use my washroom. He didn't drink anything. Mr. Bob find out the bottle, Jameson bottle, at backside. They say this bottle is empty. Whose bottle is this? I said, that's my bottle. I'm not drinking right now. I'm at not the premises right now. Mr. Bob, when come first time, I'm not at the premises. Okay. He right now, my eyes are dizzy and I'm not standing in my foot. If it's something like that, I'm coming from my home.
So Mr. Singh, you don't, the person who was drunk using your toilets, do you know his name?
Arjun.
Arjun. So you
Yeah.
do know him.
Yeah.
Is he somebody that comes to the shop regularly?
Yeah, he's regular customer, sir.
Fine.
He's regular
Okay.
customer.
Okay. And does he? And I understand. You know, if you've got a regular customer and they want to use the loo, I can understand that you would let someone use the loo. I'm not. I would expect you to be charitable, but so he's a regular customer, and the bottle of whiskey, I believe it was whiskey. Was it whiskey, Bob?
It was a bottle of Jameson's.
That was Jameson's, yeah. So so a bottle of Jameson's that was empty. Who drank that whiskey?
Nobody drank that time, sir. That bottle.
So how was the bottle empty?
I tell you, that bottle is empty right that time as well, because I tell them this bottle is mine.
Yeah, but why?
They say that bottle is yours. Okay, this is empty. Why this is empty? I say, when I close the shop, I drink sometimes. I don't want to bin backside because construction work is going on. They don't take in my bin. So sometimes my bin is my backside at stove.
Okay.
That's it.
So you had drank that whiskey over a period of time,
but not at a shop. Outside my shop, at the parking. The bottle at the shop, because my bin is full. Construction work is going on. Nobody come to collect the bin. That's
okay. I think the committee members have heard that. Councillor Coley, Councillor Ball, you've heard that. Thank you. Yeah. Bob, anything further on that?
I'd like to perhaps bring forward to the members of the committee that in my statement, page 3, on that visit, on my first, I think it's your page 30, I stated that I continued to check behind the counter, and as I was doing this, a male came from the rear of the shop. Sorry, it's page 30 of the report. It's my statement, page 3, first paragraph.
Yep.
It's just to read out real quick. I continued to check behind the counter, and as I was doing this, a male came from the rear of the shop, followed by Officer Gori. Apparently, the male had been found in the rear drinking alcohol, and an empty bottle of Jameson was found on the shelf where the male had been standing.
Sorry. Yep.
Obviously, if he's been seen, when I presented the case, obviously I don't read word for word my statement. That was a précis of what happened on the 2 occasions. But obviously, he's been seen by Mr. Gori drinking when he went in there to the rear store.
No.
Person in the loo.
No.
That's what their statement is.
वो पी चुका था already. Statement में क्या है? Any CCTV footage or something? जब वो पीता ही नहीं, मेरी premises पे मैं allowed नहीं करता. Nothing happened.
Okay.
According to sorry,
Mr. Pancha.
Yeah, sorry. Well, what my client is saying is that he's not allowed to drink on the premises. Is there any evidence? Because what Bob Gori is saying, that he was found drinking. According to my client, he says he wasn't drinking at all. He's not allowed to drink on the premises.
My answer to that, Mr. Pancha, Mr. Singh, was you're not allowed to sell smuggled goods, but you were. So my last
talking
point,
about a different. No, I agree
my last
what you're
point
saying.
is, my last
But
point
he does.
Sorry, I'll just make one quick question, Mr. Pancha, and I'll be finished. Obviously, you say you're going to change the DPS. Your premises is located in the special priority area, which obviously is the front of the report. Are you putting that man in danger if these people keep coming, these blackmailers with goods?
Well, I don't know. That will be a question that we will need to look into. But when there are other shops around there is a shop next to it also, which is complying at the moment, according to us. So we could bring this back into compliance. That's what our idea, our way forward is. And that is what, whether you could understand or not, I don't know.
Obviously, that's the ultimate goal, is compliance.
Yeah.
But the premises, I think you mentioned next door is
You've gone on mute.
You're on mute.
Oh, thank
Bob,
you,
yeah.
Councillor. The premises next door is you mentioned is not an off license. There is an off license opposite, and that's all from me, Chair. Thank you.
Could we just to clarify that point, that next door there is a third shop from the same shop, which is a butcher which has got an off license with the butchery.
I stand corrected, Chair. That's a new premises. Quite correct, Mr. Bencher. You dealt with it.
Yeah, because I've applied that license and we got that license through, so I understand.
Okay. So I've got nobody signaling to ask questions. So Bob, if you'd like to sum up, and obviously Mr. Panchal, you'll have an opportunity to respond to what Mr. Deer says in your summing up. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we're here today for, I hate to say it, another non-compliant business. But this one, to his credit, is actually admitted, knowing on the first occasion that he was breaking the law, and on the second occasion he was breaking the law, and hasn't really got an excuse apart from something that he hasn't produced any evidence for. He's being blackmailed to accept stolen property, to sell it. It's a good point by the councillor about the other goods. It's never been mentioned where Mr. Singh buys his Indian tobacco and illicit cigarettes from. So I don't think I've heard anything to change my mind, and I'll ask you to revoke this premises licence. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Panchal.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Bob. As I said, and as Bob has just said in his submission, that we have not disputed, and we have explained to our customer, to our client, and we do understand compliance is the most important part in promoting the 4 licensing objectives. By making our client admit of what is carried out, and we have found a way that we can go forward with this shop in making sure the compliance is carried out, is to put him away from the DPS, designated premises supervisor, who has a day-to-day running, according to the Licensing Act 2003. The DPS has a day-to-day running of the shop, and what we are trying to achieve here is by putting a new DPS who will be totally responsible in a day-to-day running of the shop and getting the compliance in place with ourselves in making sure we get that right. There is a way forward for this shop. We understand, and I understand under 11.28 that even at the first instance the license can be revoked. In this instance, you sitting there making your decision is you haven't had any choice what Bob's presented to you, but you do have a choice here. There is a suspension period that can be utilized, which will be a great loss financially to the shop, but it will make them understand much more better, and then we will have a DPS who will be making sure the compliance is taken in place. So I think there is a way forward in getting things right. There is a way forward we could move on these premises if the right decision is made today. So, and the right decision we feel is giving a short period of suspension, or the maximum suspension if you wish so, and a change of DPS. Mr. Singh is preparing at the moment and has his mind of going away from the shop, and that will then bring the compliance up to date, and we may be able to have his shop sold and get himself into a better position somewhere else or to any other business. But that would be the way forward that we feel that the committee should look into today. And that's our presentation today. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Don't have many indications. So, Hattie, does Mr. Panchal need to confirm those conditions or his proposals, or are you happy with that?
Chair, it appears Mr. Panchal has made representations already, and they would have been noted by Cornelia. So unless you need clarification along with your colleagues on the panel, then or Mr. Panchal wants to confirm them, then we can carry on.
So your proposal, Mr. Panchal, is for a new DPS?
My proposal is for the change of new DPS. The DPS could be approved by the responsible authorities if that is the case. We have no problems with that. And a suspension which we are whilst getting that in place, a suspension could be something that you could propose. Okay.
All right, that's useful. I'm sure you would like us to approve a DPS. Okay, so I don't see any indications from anyone else. So I think that's it. We can retire to deliberate. Cornelia, you okay? You've got everything you need before we retire?
Yes, Councillor Kelly.
Yeah,
that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you for confirming. So it's 11:55. So we will retire, and you can come back to the room. I would recommend that you're back in the room at 12:40. I would suggest. I would expect to have the decision ready for 12:40. But obviously, if we need to take longer, we may need to do so. So thank you very much, Mr. Singh and Mr. Panchal, for attending.
Thank you.
And Mr. Dev, I may see you all later from 12:40. Thank you.